The Matrix. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Very slow, yeah. Once again, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, Matrix. When we are born, when we see a kid, we see a luster in their eyes. We see the radiance. We can see God through their eyes because of the vibrancy in their eyes. They don't care what they are doing and whom they are speaking to, what they are speaking to. But with time, they get experience and they lose that radiance. They lose that luster, they become dull, and in the end they get to be in the Toastmaster reading. So why does that happen? Because they are stuck in the matrix. And what is the matrix then? Matrix is, according to the society, running after money, running after success, and just keep on running. When you get to that goal, you realize that you're not happy and you want to reach to the next goal on the same path. And then you again realize you're not happy. And that keeps going on and going on and going on. And you keep on becoming dull. You are not happy, you are not following your own passion. You just are an engineer. Like most of the engineering students, whenever I speak to them, this is the reply that they say. Because everyone was doing it. So my dad said, engineering, okay. That's why I got into engineering. So, what's the answer to this? The answer is that we have to listen to that intuition, listen to that instinct. Only then you will realize, you will know what should you be doing in the near future. But you also have to explore, right? If you don't really know what your passion is. You have never really been out of your home because you are scared of the strangers. You are scared of your mom shouting at you because she wants you to be inside and studying and not going to the music classes, dance classes, or to the playground. So in the end, it happens that people don't follow their passion. They're not happy at that. Then they are just getting into that rat race. So in life, you would be finding two types of people who are after the goals. Few of them actually like them, and few of them, or most of them, don't. So the people who don't like their goals, but they are still achieving them, they are reeling it through, they are still doing it. Right? So what's the difference? So if someone is following up his passion and is generating good amount of money, good amount of fame, and second person is just following what he doesn't like, anything that he's doing, his job, but he's doing good. What's the difference then? What do you guys think? Yes, you can say that. There is one more difference, that is ego. If someone is doing his job which he doesn't like, he would be having that ego. And if someone is following up his passion, he wouldn't be having an ego, he would be having his humility. He would be loving everyone, while the guy who's having ego would be fearful of losing it, of losing that job, of living in scarcity. If he just loses that job, everything of his would be destroyed because he doesn't know what else he should be doing. Whereas if a painter loses some conference or loses some exhibition or loses the painting skill itself, he could probably use that creativity to be a painter of a new kind. Right? So that would be the basic difference between humility and ego. The painter guy or someone who is following up his passion would be living in happiness. And it's not necessary that you only have to follow up your passion. We know that in the modern days, you always want a stable job. I'm not telling you to quit your job and follow your passion, find out it, be a sports person, be the next Virat Kohli. I'm not telling you that. But just in the day that you spend 24 hours, at least spend 30 minutes doing something that you actually like. You will get back that radiance, that happiness, that luster on your face. You will go back to sleep happy every night. Even our grandfathers have been told that they have to follow the societal norms. And they taught the same thing to our parents, and they are teaching us the same thing. That don't question, just follow. Just follow the rules. If you are going there, do this, wear that. If you are going there, do this, do that. And if you want to think outside of a certain pattern, then you can't be a part of that society. You could be called a taboo sometimes. Yes. So there's an analogy that I read somewhere. It's called merry-go-round. In our life, suppose we are standing in the center of that merry-go-round and it's spinning at a very, very high rate, we won't be feeling anything. We would be relatively very, very calm, and we would be grounding. The world would be revolving around us. And in our real life also, this is how things should be happening. But if we move just 2 feet away from that center, we could be just gripping to that railing. And in the worst case also, our legs could be up high and we might be flying and would be asking someone else to please stop the merry-go-round. And in life, if a person is just 2 to 3 feet away from the center, from the groundedness, from that abundance, from getting that happiness, from following their passion, they would be pushed into that depression, into that anxiety, right? And this is how people become addicted. All the addiction that we see, smoking addiction, food addiction, phone addiction, even porn addiction, that is a taboo. People don't want to speak about it. It's all because of this. Because people actually don't have something that they enjoy. And there's a thing called dopamine. It's a happiness hormone. When we used to be around 10,000 years back, our ancestors used to be hunters and gatherers. So for them to be happy, there was no phone, there was no internet, there was no Toastmasters. They could only hunt, kill and enjoy the prey. They could only conquer the land, be the king and then enjoy and then be happy. That was the reason they used to enjoy that hormone called dopamine. But in the current circumstances, this entire process of hard work has been short-circuited. We just have to open up our phone, order Zomato, and a lustrous cake would be just kept in front of us. And we would be enjoying that sugary cake and would be posting on Instagram. Such a wonderful cake that I had. So that dopamine would be released, but we literally did nothing. We can be sitting in front of TV. We could be spending the entire night binge watching every show that Toastmaster Varun was telling us about. But there would be always a need from our own within that we have to see more, that we have to eat more, that we have to smoke more. This is the effect of dopamine. You are literally getting out nothing. You are doing no hard work. But slowly and steadily, that cheap thrill of dopamine, you would be desensitized to. So slowly and steadily, you won't be feeling nothing after just eating one slice of chocolate or one slice of cake. Now what happens? You want 2 slices of cake. If previously you used to binge watch for 2 hours, now you would like to binge watch for 4 hours. Now you would like to smoke 4 cigarettes or 4 chai. Or shop for 2 hours more. And this would keep going on and going on and going on. Till the time you actually realize that you're helpless. Your sovereignty on your own self has vanished. And you are stuck in the matrix. Your eyes are closed and you're just walking, whatever is happening is happening. And you have no control upon yourself because your senses have taken over. And you are in that river of dopamine rush. You have no, I don't know what they call that, but in Hindi it's called chappu. And you are just going with the flow. And so what's the answer to this? That we will be discussing after break.